Hey, guys.
How's it going?
It's going.
Hello,
How are you guys
everyone.
doing?
Good. Excellent.
You're looking really well.
You went from good to excellent in
Yeah.
record time.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
It's because Aki's got a
you
great
guys
haircut.
are looking out. You guys are really looking well.
You look hot, baby.
You look hot.
You like Aki's haircut?
Love it.
Okay.
You want the?
Aki, you can share the name of your barber.
I'm not gonna.
Or hairdresser, I'm sorry.
Stavros.
Actually, nice Greek lady.
There we go.
Angie.
Wonderful. Okay, we're going to stop there, Aki. I don't want to get you in any more trouble.
Don't hold her hand.
You have a way of digging your own grave. Anyway, before we head into today's topic, head first,
Yes.
let's take a moment to welcome back our viewers and listeners.
Welcome back,
Welcome.
everyone. Thanks for being here.
Thank them.
Thanks for liking and subscribing when you get a chance.
Don't be shy. Send us your comments, your reactions.
That's it.
And do subscribe.
All right.
All right, Noran. You did it.
So, I have a cheerful topic for today.
A light topic.
What are we talking about today?
What happens when we die?
Oh,
Are we gonna show it to anyone? Or?
It's I
We're not
thought it
gonna
would help.
demonstrate
It
it.
will help us in our planning.
I see. Okay, good. That's a good one.
is there any particular reason why we are going there now?
Oh, we're not going there. We're just going to discuss it.
Important clarification.
Yes.
Important clarification.
Okay, good.
What happens when we die?
What happens when
I
we
mean,
die?
so I'm looking at you because you and I are people of faith
Yeah.
at this table. So in our belief system, do we have some sort of answer?
in your fairy tale system?
Well, in our belief system,
Burn, son of a bitch.
as a Catholic, we believe in eternal life. So our soul.
Up, 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 up.
I know. I am
My
Catholic.
father,
As the Greeks would say.
with the worry beads, the komboloi, as they call it.
I am Catholic.
I really, when I subject, I didn't think it would be a lighthearted topic,
Yeah.
but yeah, let's
Oh,
go
it's-
for it.
Well,
Okay.
look at him. Get serious here.
Sorry, guys.
Well, being Catholic, obviously, that's what we believe in. But personally, I'm not convinced.
Oh,
Yeah, I think.
Oh my gosh.
I think when we're dead, it's like when we were unborn.
meaning?
It's the same thing. You know, it's like
Nothing.
when we were unborn.
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
You know, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's unfortunate if this is all there is to it.
Yeah.
I find that unfortunate
Why? Why do you find it unfortunate?
So you don't
Well-
believe in the soul?
until further notice. I mean, look,
Okay.
nobody has ever come back. I know they see the light in the tunnel and this and that. You know,
Yeah.
could
but
be the drugs too.
could be a lot of things.
Yeah. So, but I know. As a Catholic, I'm not proud to say what I'm saying, but there's not everything in my religion that I subscribe to. So,
Like the priests diddling children.
well,
So there's
So
no
it'd be
hope.
interesting to see if that's a departure from Aki's way of thinking.
It's a hard one.
It
So
is.
as you guys know, okay. So when it comes to religion, I mean, my attachment to my faith. I'm Greek, so Greek Orthodox Christian. My attachment to my faith is the story of Jesus Christ.
Why are you wearing Buddha beads then?
Hey, we're liberal.
He's relentless.
I'm also liberal. I'm liberal,
point.
right? All the cultures are welcome.
I see.
And all
okay.
the faiths we respect, Nuran. So the story of the resurrection kind of is what I cling to.
You cling to the resurrection.
I cling to the
There's a
story of the
story.
resurrection, which I don't think has ever been proven or disproven, but
No.
I think it's a.
But,
you need to disprove it?
but have you
Okay.
noticed he never
I'm-
he
what?
never came back because he got his
Well-
ass kicked pretty good the first time.
So
Not where I expected this to go. Yes, yes.
I hope your priest doesn't know about the podcast because you could be in.
Okay, Aki, carry on, please.
So the resurrection, the story of the resurrection. So number one, I mean, the whole
Yeah.
story of this selflessness and missionary life.
Are we talking about your life story?
I'm
or-
talking about in a way. I mean, I aspire to that. I mean, you guys, that would not be a surprise to you. I mean, this is what I believe our purpose in this world is: to make it a better place and to be humane and to be decent. And
You're
to-
a good person.
like all of us. I mean,
No, you're better
regardless
than us.
ideology, fundamentally, I think we share those values. So anyway, that's part of that story, part of that belief system is this idea of resurrection, that when you're worthy, there is another opportunity for you, or there is more life for you in a different form. So I kind of, I cling to that. Now, can I sit here and firmly argue this is exactly I am going to be going into a better life, and there is going to be a paradise? And of course not. I can't say that with conviction. So I'm torn.
So why can't you say that with conviction?
Because I'm torn. Because we have a brain.
Because of logic.
Because of logic. Because of all the all the intellectual arguments that we can put on the table.
Mm-hmm.
But yet you hang on to certain beliefs.
I hang on to certain beliefs, and I will hang on. My answer would be, so I'm hanging my hat on the story of the resurrection, and therefore I'm keeping an open mind about the possibility that there is life after death.
Right. So something that happened 2,000 years ago.
Okay, go ahead, tear it apart. Tell us what you believe. So what is your opinion in this?
Well, I'll give you another one that's a little bit more interesting in my what is consciousness? Right, people are looking now into quantum physics, and they're thinking about what's the thing when in quantum physics when things are attached. I'm forgetting the terms now. Sorry.
Fusion? What are you talking about?
No. It's just when things are not superimposed, but when there's not symmetry, but anyway.
Connected.
Yeah. When things over. Anyway, in my mind. There's a potential, or there's something about consciousness which might have to do with quantum physics, which might have to do with some type of existence or potential existence that's happening in our brains that we don't understand. Now, it could be true, it could be false, it could be nothing, but that might have some sort of metaphysical kind of implication for
beyond the body.
For beyond the body, in terms of what people consider a soul. Now, forget the storybooks and all the crap of religion and all this other stuff. Like, for me, I flush all that down the toilet, because that's just people's stories. That's ignorant people 2,000 years ago seeing a fire in a bush and saying, "Oh, that must be God that did that," and all that shit. If you flush all that aside and you just look at the science, in my mind, there's a potential, or there's a possibility of some existence beyond this. And this meaning this reality, this what we see, what our eyes and what our brains are telling us, because there are possibilities out there of other things, other dimensions, other realities, other things. That's what I think about.
Okay, so I'm listening to you, and I'm going to take a step back, if you allow me.
Sure.
And I'm going to ask you guys a couple of questions, and then we can come back to answering what happens when we die. What is life? What state are living organisms in when we describe them as being alive?
Consciousness.
Well, is consciousness only true of our species, or is it true of all species?
Well, there's self-awareness as well.
All species with a heart. If it's the heart is beating, you're alive.
Yeah.
Well, again, there's different levels of consciousness. There's a different level of awareness. Are you a worm that's just burrowing in the ground? Are you a higher?
Okay, so
right?
let's find, if we can, a definition of life that applies to all living organisms. When do we consider something to be alive, or someone to be alive?
When it's not dead.
Okay, that's a very simplistic view.
I understand, but that's what it is. I mean, even a human being who's dead, who doesn't talk anymore, still alive. He's
a brain dead human being.
Yeah, until the heart stops beating.
Okay, but we use the expression brain dead. We don't say dead at that point.
No, we don't.
So I'm talking about the opposite of dead, which is alive.
Okay. Yeah, you just said it, which is the opposite of dead. So if you're moving, if you've got a heartbeat, if you've got some sort of reaction, and if bacteria are multiplying, if you can multiply, if you can have offspring, you're alive, I guess, because the only way you're going to keep your species going is to have offspring. So maybe that's a definition we could use: is if as long as you can procreate as an entity, then.
So if you have a vasectomy, you're dead.
You may as well be.
Hey, I have a vasectomy. I'm not dead.
There you go.
Okay, so you've answered his question.
Exactly.
No.
I'm still going strong, guys.
No, that doesn't. Your definition doesn't work.
Okay. All right. So, but what are we getting at? So, okay, we're alive. Let's assume that anything that moves or whatever, or has a heartbeat, or can put two brain cells together. Let's assume they're alive.
Well, not all living organisms, right, have a human brain.
Not a human brain, but some sort of central nervous system that can react to an input.
That's it.
Let's. I mean, you want to get to microbes? Do you want to get to bacteria? Do you want to get to viruses? I mean, yeah. Let's have some definition of you're alive. If you don't, the opposite of that is you're dead.
Okay. If that's the best we can do, it's sad, but I'll accept it, somewhat reluctantly.
Yeah. There's one,
The next question then is, do we believe that when a living organism dies, regardless of what that organism is, it suffers a similar fate when it is no longer alive or it is dead?
That's a very good one.
I think the difference, I could see where you're going with this. And to me, the difference is consciousness. So if there are, and self-awareness.
And soul, the question of the soul.
Well, that's it. So yeah.
No, you're talking about in a live state.
In a live state.
So to me, there's a form of energy. So whether I'm looking at botanical, or I'm looking at animal, or I'm looking at human, right? And it's manifested in different ways. But one of the common denominators is there's a level of energy that is produced based on reactions to various chemical elements that we find on our planet, and so on and so forth.
Right.
Right. And when we stop reacting, and in the case of species that have hearts, the heart stops beating, and we become we stop existing.
We start decaying,
and the process of decay begins.
Yep.
And so you continue to react to various chemical elements in your surroundings, but in a very different way, because the key elements that are required in order for you to remain in a live state are no longer active.
Okay. So you're dead. In other words.
So
can you give us an example?
So I'm looking at whether it's plant life, whether it's animal life, whether it's human life. When an organism dies, what happens?
If it doesn't have a soul, I mean, again.
No, forget soul, because you're talking in somewhat spiritual terms.
Correct.
And I'm trying to bring it to more a scientific view of what happens when you die.
Well, it loses all its purpose.
Well, okay, we can get into a whole conversation about what is the purpose of a certain living organism.
Procreation is the purpose. It's the only purpose.
Not the only one, but
it is for me.
Yeah.
That's why, Pat. The only possible answer that I can come up with is, from the religious standpoint, it's the answer that I'm.
So why does the religious angle only pertain to human beings?
Yeah,
because of the question of soul.
Yeah.
It's another human construct.
It's all bullshit.
It's another human construct. And here's the issue. You and I think we've had this conversation before.
Right.
You can't prove something isn't true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can put forth logical arguments, you can put forth rational statements to try and poke holes into a certain belief, but fundamentally, I can't prove to you that Santa Claus doesn't exist. I can't prove to you that a soul doesn't exist, but it just doesn't make any rational sense.
Okay, and now you just defined faith.
But Pat,
I define blind faith.
Yeah. I like your point about energy, because one thing I do firmly believe, that everywhere we go, we leave energy. That's why, I believe in ghosts.
Oh, you believe in ghosts?
Well, I'm not like Casper the Ghost,
I have a video of one in my from Spain.
Exactly. I think we leave energy anywhere we go, and every once in a while that energy manifests itself.
Well, see, that's the whole idea of the consciousness thing,
Yeah,
right?
maybe that's it. And the other thing is reincarnation. I've read quite a bit of Indian and Buddhism literature, and there's something to it, I mean,
there is something to it.
Yeah. So do we not that we come back in another human form,
or another species.
Another species. I mean, it's far-fetched.
So no, I'll tell you what's interesting is how the human mind creates
these stories.
Stories or narratives
to soften death.
To soften death and to give people a perspective that they may not otherwise have in terms of, why do we exist? Why are we here? What happens? To me, these are all human constructs that frankly don't make a whole lot of sense. I see a whole bunch of holes in them.
Yeah. Of course.
Beyond
The argument that and again, I don't want to be morbid, but we're discussing death. So left to a state that is not manipulated, right? So let's assume for a moment that a human being, a member of the human species, dies in nature.
Yep.
So they're not buried, they're not cremated. No human intervention whatsoever.
Yeah, it's going to be food for other things.
So to me, it is no different than if a plant or an animal dies in nature. Over time, so you're right, depending on where you are in nature, there are insects and or animals that may feed on the carcass.
For sure.
Essentially, bones will be left, and unless there are hyenas around that are going to have fun cracking the bones, you're going to essentially decay and decompose and decay, essentially into the elements that comprise that particular organism. So it's different. It's different for a plant than it is for a worm, than it is for a wild cat, than it is for a human being. But at the core, we're carbon essentially, and so whatever chemical elements we are composed of will be reabsorbed in nature.
Yeah.
We're going to be food for other species, basically.
Well,
Right.
the cycle continues.
So it could very well be that in the ultimate state of decomposition, you have fed insects, animals, and fauna.
Which is DNA.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Done.
And the cycle of life continues.
But you no longer are.
Yeah.
And to think that I've been reincarnated as something else, well, it's like, well, if you want to really stretch the definition of reincarnation,
That's a good
Pat,
point.
No, but Pat, what you're not taking into account is what is consciousness. And if you can define what consciousness is,
well, define it for me.
well, okay, I can't. So that's the part where I don't know. And that's the part that goes into the metaphysical, and that's the part that bridges into religion and faith and all this other stuff.
Okay, you don't know what it is.
No, and it's something that's not easy because we don't understand the way the human brain works. No one can tell me or you what consciousness actually is. What is that thing that gives you consciousness in your brain? Has an inside voice when you can speak to yourself in your brain. What is that?
In order for the brain to function, what does it need? It needs nourishment. What does it need in order to function?
Okay, so you're talking about the chemical stuff, the biochemical, and all of that.
I'm just saying. So
yes.
So if your heart stops beating,
Yes.
if your organs stop functioning,
Yeah, you cease to exist.
you can no longer feed the brain what is required in order for it to function.
Correct. Yes.
What happens to consciousness in that state?
It dies.
You vote liberal.
And that's what Dominic, you found an opening and you took
advantage.
Okay. So Dominic won.
Skillfully done, Dominic. Skillfully done.
Well done. Okay, good.
Okay.
So all I'm saying is, if we don't know what consciousness is, you're stating, and I believe it as well, that lack of consciousness is death, and it's finished.
Well,
It's done.
I would say death brings with it a loss of consciousness in the human species.
Right. Now here's where it gets funny or weird or potential.
Go ahead.
Is the superposition, I think is what I was trying to think of before. If there's some sort of energy that potentially exists or stays after this chemical stuff that's going on in the brain goes away. Now, I don't know if that exists. It goes back into, are ghosts real? Is there an afterlife?
Do we acknowledge that energy can be transferred?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yes.
Okay. So
does it get transferred at the loss of consciousness?
So not with the loss of consciousness, because you can have an unconscious human being.
Okay, I mean loss of life.
Okay, so with loss of life,
Yeah.
I come back to my belief, which is that the chemical elements that comprise
Yeah, they stop. They
Life.
cease. Yeah.
get reabsorbed in nature.
Okay. No, I don't disagree with you. All I'm saying
That's
is
all.
there, in my mind, I leave a little sliver of an opening, a little sliver of what I say is shit we don't know. And yes, 99.99999% I agree with you that yes, when we die, we just die and we decompose and we're just food for other species or other things. That's fine. But there's this little tiny little sliver in my head that goes, maybe there is some shit that's happening on a quantum state, on an energy state, on a dimensional state that we're not aware of. And maybe that's what it is when people start talking to, other, these psychics that come up with shit who aren't potentially, or, who aren't just readers of people, but who actually do feel something, that there is something going on. Now, it could be all bullshit.
Well, it doesn't have to be bullshit in the sense that, to me, bullshit is when somebody lies or perpetuates a lie,
Yeah.
as opposed to someone who is convinced of something. Right? In their minds, they are convinced that they saw something, they heard something.
You're
felt
describing
something.
religion.
No, I'm describing people at various stages of life. Listen,
And you're also
you have an elderly parent.
Yes.
So do I. For the first time in my mother's almost 96 years on this planet, she is saying things that make absolutely no sense to me. And thankfully, it's not a continuous stream. It's occasional.
Mm-hmm.
But she's convinced that she's seeing things
Okay.
or having conversations or doing things.
Mm-hmm.
And then she catches herself after the fact and she says to me, but that rationally, that's not possible. What I just said is not possible for the following reasons. And, okay, so she's still capable of thinking rationally, but increasingly, she's having experiences that are just pure, I'm going to call it imagination. And when I say imagination, it's when your mind sees or interprets something that isn't real, meaning that it's not observable
By others.
It can't be validated by others.
Yeah.
It's purely occurring in your mind.
Yeah.
Right? So and your point about whether it's quantum physics or any theories and discoveries that are to follow as we continue to evolve as a species, and our understanding of our surroundings, immediate and far-reaching, continues to improve through a combination of human curiosity, exploration, and technological horsepower, that we will hopefully get more answers to things that we don't understand today and have never understood. So in the same way as you say, I think rightfully so, thousands of years ago, and these are not your words, but what I interpret your words as meaning is we used stories to explain things that could not otherwise be explained.
Yeah.
correct. It's called oral history.
So thunder, fire, various events.
Yep.
Why is the sky blue? I have no friggin' idea.
Yeah. Let's make a story.
Right?
Yep.
Let's make up a story. And all of this that surrounds us was actually the creation of a superior being. Listen, when you don't have answers and you don't have science, okay, I get it. And then the stories get told from mouth to mouth, right, or mouth to ear, get interpreted or misinterpreted, and there are different dialects and languages ultimately. And then at some point we learn how to record information in writing, but the people who are recording the information are capturing it based on their understanding or interpretation, and it goes on and on and on.
You're describing
and on, right?
religion. You're
Well,
describing
yeah, exactly.
religion.
Okay,
all of it.
but you can call it religion. I'm just saying it's stories.
Yeah.
It's
But that's our-
human constructs.
Yes.
It has nothing to do
So
with science.
are you Pat? Sorry.
So what I'm saying is that those stories evolved over the years to include some really interesting stories about what happens. And we weren't as concerned about, fauna or animal life because we've always been selfish. So we made up stories about what happens to human life. And we chose to interpret differences between the human species and other species to justify some of our stories.
Okay.
Okay.
For me, there is no difference.
Okay. So you're more like the native Indians.
In the sense that any living organism, regardless of how simple or complex it is comprised of chemical elements that will eventually get reabsorbed into nature.
Okay, but okay. So let me jump in. Okay, to your point though. But in religion, there is a recognition of the other species. When we talk about all of God's creatures, that is what we're talking about.
So dogs go to heaven.
I don't know, but there is a recognition.
How many times have you listened to sermons? And so, what do you mean you don't know?
Okay, so let me put it this way. What you're saying is, and I think the three of us are saying that, of course, science is our tool, our main tool, and our main intellectual engine is science. This is what we're talking about. Okay. But you have admitted, that there is a small sliver, very tiny sliver.
We don't understand
that
everything.
We don't understand, right?
There's not a small sliver we don't understand. There's more that we don't understand than there is that we do understand.
The sliver is the probability that there exists something else.
So we are not as human beings. We are not supreme. We are not infallible. We do not have the ability to understand and master everything. Everything in the living world. So this is where I'm saying, what I'm saying is, this is where faith comes in, where we do recognize.
No. This is where your faith comes in.
This is fine. This is where my faith comes in, and I think I can look at Dominic, and Dominic, is nodding in agreement. So we're saying that having accepted that we are not masters and we do not know everything, there's a possibility that our construct goes beyond, our scientific, arguments and theories.
So I agreed with you until your last comment.
Just because we don't...
Obviously, some members of the human species have convinced themselves that they are the superior being, and so we have all the answers. And to me, that's where religion comes from. Because if we were a little more humble, we would say, there are certain things about this world, this planet we live on, or this universe that we're part of, that we have absolutely no understanding of. We're going to ask questions. We're going to probe. We're going to search to the best of our abilities. We're going to create new ways of exploring our surroundings so that we can come up with more answers, better answers, more credible answers. And we're going to put them through a rigorous process to ensure that they're not one or few people's interpretation of how the world operates or how the universe operates.
Yeah, the scientific process is what you're describing.
Right. The bottom line is, no, we are not the almighty being. No. There is, in my mind, no almighty being. What there is physics and the laws of physics and the laws of nature.
Yeah, that we don't fully understand yet.
And we may never fully understand them.
Yeah, exactly.
But if history is any indication, our understanding will improve over the coming decades, centuries, and millennia.
Okay.
If we remain alive, yes.
To extend on that path.
You're talking now from
humanity.
Okay.
Yeah. To extend on that path, do you think that it would be beneficial or detrimental to our existence if we knew for sure what happens when we die?
Yeah, I think it would be good to debunk all religion. That would be fun.
No, I'll tell you what. For most people, it would be detrimental.
Okay.
And obviously, if you're of my belief system, or you at least acknowledge that what I'm saying has merit, even if you're of a different belief system, and you're saying, okay, what he's saying makes sense, right? Then it's detrimental, because most human beings would like to think that there's something that comes after life that might even be more glorious than life itself on Earth.
Yeah, because a lot of people have shitty lives.
To me, it's like, no, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing with you. Okay. What I'm saying is, for me, it's a hard no. I have no problem accepting that whatever chemical elements I'm comprised of and give me life are someday going to get reabsorbed in nature. I'm not going to have any consciousness. I'm not going to have a heartbeat. I'm not going to have any existence. I'll have left hopefully, some reasonably good memories behind for family members and friends to reflect upon. as long as they're of this earth, and then
100
it's
years from
gone.
now,
It's gone.
100 years from now, all of our memories, everything is going to be gone anyway.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
you know.
So getting back,
You know,
to,
I have jokingly say I go visit my dad in the cemetery several times a year. I speak to him, doesn't talk back to me, and that's okay.
You know why? Because you're not crazy.
It's okay.
Because if you does.
But there are some people, Dominic, there are some
Yeah, I
people
know.
who are not crazy, who will tell you, I have conversations
No,
with
I
my
don't.
deceased mother or father and say, they're convinced of it.
Yeah.
no,
I don't call them crazy.
Okay, so two things.
I do.
Now, number one, the scenario that
Why
you
am I
that-
not surprised?
the scenario that you proposed, that if we knew for sure that there was a heaven or a better place,
Yeah.
you know, that if you live this life, if you prove yourself in this world, then you will have the
What does
reward.
that mean, prove yourself?
Prove yourself in terms of, you know, being a decent person.
But you
with
hold
good
hands with other
intentions.
women at lunch.
So, you know,
Work with me, Norad. Work with me.
and
Let's take it to a higher level.
Aki, I understand that it's not a pleasant thought for people like you.
no.
Hold on, let me finish. To think that Mother Teresa and Vladimir Putin or Adolf Hitler all end up in the same place.
Excellent point.
But they do.
Excellent point. So
They do. They all end up in the same
But
place.
Dominic is opening the door to the if. And if it was clear that there was, you know,
That's a scare tactic.
but if it was
The whole heaven and hell argument is
the-
a scare tactic.
Right, but I am saying, you know, if we want to, if we want to just, you know, use our imagination and say, you know, theoretically that
Okay.
if you had a clear answer, your response was no. You don't think that? You think that would be detrimental
To a lot of people.
for the human species?
For a lot
I
of
would say
people.
the opposite. I think it would not be detrimental. I think it would bring out the best in people in this world.
So-
because to be assured that, you know, if I'm good, that I will have the opportunity to live eternally.
Oh, you think the answer is gonna be yes.
Okay,
In a paradise.
no. You're taking it from a whole different
that's the
180 degrees
perspective
removed.
that
So you're thinking the answer is going to be yes.
I think the answer would be
Oh.
absolutely. If we had an answer, a firm answer to that
yes.
question, I think that life would be
Actually-
better in this existence.
I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think I would go the other way, Aki, because I think if there is a heaven, I think suicide rate would skyrocket.
Oh, but you can't get in when you suicide.
Yeah, but,
yeah,
you know.
that's what religion tells you.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Sorry? No, that's not true.
No, it's not
That's
true.
not true.
Isn't it?
Muslims are doing it all the time.
No, that's the. I'm talking about the Christian.
No, you said religion. Well,
Judeo-Christian.
there's more than one religion.
Well, the Judeo-Christian faith. How's that?
Actually, in the Jewish faith,
There is no hell.
There is no belief in an afterlife.
Oh, okay. So it's just the Christians that are fucked up. Me being one of them, I guess.
Yeah, thank you.
I think
You're messed up for other reasons.
That too.
Okay, so
exactly.
and then the other part of it.
And we love you for it.
Okay, so when we so my
So Aki, this whole concept of heaven and hell
yeah.
is a despicable manipulation to get people to try and behave a certain way. And there's so much hypocrisy around it.
Yeah.
Because if the people who are essentially entrusted with educating the Christian masses and the Roman Catholic masses in particular are performing acts that are inexcusable. Oh, yeah, but I forgot. In the Catholic religion, you have this get out of jail free card.
Yeah, forgiveness.
It's called confession.
Oh, there you go.
All I have to do is confess that I did something wrong and I will be forgiven.
for all sins.
Yeah.
Pedophiles are forgiven if they happen to be members of the
So
clergy.
when you kill, when you let's say take a religious.
How convenient! Come on, give me a break.
when you violate the 10 Commandments and you confess, all is forgiven.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, 10 Hail Marys and get the fuck out
I
of here.
don't agree with it, but yeah.
I didn't realize
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
the doctrine was that.
I think there's no heaven or hell. There's heaven maybe, but depending how good you are, you get better accommodations.
What accommodation?
I don't know, whatever there is up there.
Where? Why up there?
I
We've
don't
been
know.
in space. There's nothing up
I
there.
agree.
There's nothing up there.
To me, soul.
garbage.
The soul is the energy you leave. I really believe that.
Well, let's talk about energies,
So let's talk about energy.
vibrations.
Why do we have to call it soul?
So vibrations,
Because
energies,
it sounds better.
dimensions, dimensional stuff.
No, you're putting it in scientific terms.
Correct, because that's the only thing that I'll believe in.
Well, to me-
is reality, not
Okay.
this bullshit.
I'm with you.
When you have a conscience, you have a soul.
No,
no.
I think so.
Well,
No.
prove it.
I think the soul is after
Once you
die.
prove it, then I'll believe it.
no.
Fucking
If you
prove it.
have a large enough brain, You can construct things. You can create, imagine and construct things. One of the things that the human brain constructed is the soul.
Yeah.
It's a human construct.
Yeah.
That's it.
There is no scientific evidence of soul anywhere unless we're talking about the fish. And even that's a name. It's a human construct.
And spelled S-O-L-E.
Yes.
Yeah.
And,
You mentioned Mother Teresa. Or is it, after all these years, the fact that you mentioned her,
Yes.
to me, that there is something in that
Oh, no,
in
no.
our
I didn't tell you that I believed all the glorified stories about Mother Teresa. I think she was, like all human beings, a flawed individual. She did
course.
a lot of good,
Of course.
and she did some
course.
really bad things.
She did.
But nobody wants to talk about
No,
those.
She did.
Nobody wants to talk about those.
Okay, all right, but
Yeah.
so
No,
Let's talk about it.
she did more great things.
My only
than she
point
did.
about Mother Teresa, and you can use any pope.
it's I'm not going to focus on Mother Teresa.
My point is how
Because you're going to go to hell afterwards.
however good or evil you are,
Yeah.
my point is you end up in the same place.
okay, and by
Yeah, dead.
and the argument is like when we talked about when you would die out there somewhere and you just basically get
Decomposed.
it's decomposed and you return back to nature and
Yes.
there's nothing and you just disappear into
Yes.
nature. And I'm saying that's not always the case in terms of when you remember people, when
Okay,
the people
so-
are not forgotten, when they live inside you and
They
they're
don't
still
live
influencing-
inside you. You have
They do.
memories.
I think they do.
They
I
don't
think-
live inside you, Aki.
well, I hear. Okay, if my parents are both gone, but I do hear, the advice, the conversations.
Yeah.
They're still.
Those
they're
are the
still-
memories that you carry.
Right, but
Yeah.
to me, it's also that. To me, is an indication
And 100
of an existence of some sort.
And 100 years from now, when you're gone and your kids are gone and no one remembers your parents anymore because you don't remember 5 generations ahead of you, do you?
No, but-
okay.
no.
Because you don't know them.
No.
So 5 generations after you, no one's going to remember you.
No, but
So
there is- but
all
the-
memories are gone. You're dead. You're dead.
yeah, who says that
But
has
the
to be the
Romeo
standard?
podcast will survive.
Wow. But that's not the standard.
In
You're right.
YouTube, we
Right.
trust.
I'm not sure
Digital.
that's the standard. I mean, there's something about being able to remember and for us to be aware
Yes.
of these people that
It's-
we've known in our
it's-
lives that are gone.
Yeah,
And I'm saying
actually.
that
yes,
that
it means something to
it
you
means-
now. But when you're gone and your kids are gone and your kids' are gone, you're going to be gone. You're not even going to be a memory. You're saying, oh, because there's a memory of someone, they're still alive in a sense. Yeah, again, it's
I
all
know.
wordplay.
Okay, so-
it's making you feel better.
Right, but
it's not real.
when I go to the cemetery and I
Yes.
sometimes you read the tombstones, right?
Yes.
I mean you're aware of I don't know. I mean maybe it's just me, but you're aware. You read the name of the person.
Yes.
You're at that second. You recognize that was a human being.
Okay.
So,
And
okay, so Aki, exhume them. What are you going to find?
No, you're being ridiculous. All I'm
why
sa-
why
all
am
I'm
I
saying
being
is
ridiculous? I'm
just
asking you a
suggesting-
question.
I-
If you exhume them, what are
I-
you going to find?
Of course, but that's not.
No,
is
of
that the
course.
end of the
What
story?
is the answer? Not
He's-
of course.
he's being
What are you going to
romantic
find?
in his-
Okay, you're going to find. Of course, we know what you're going to find. But my response to that is that the end of the story, the total end of the story? And I'm saying is there are some tiny openings that would suggest that no, that is not the complete
But
end
who
of that person's
cares?
story.
Okay, so why would you live this life even giving a shit about that? Because you don't know for sure. Okay? So why even think about it while you're trying to live this life? Because this life is about, hey, what am I going to have for
Because
lunch? What am I going to have for dinner?
No, it's
Who am I
not.
going to spend my time with?
no.
What do I want to do with my
all
life?
of the above, all of the above, and also
So what do you care about the time when your heart stops?
because that's also part of your living your life is also about having memories and also having being in having benefited from wisdom from others and
Yeah, and?
remembering them. That's
What-
also part of living life.
Okay, that's
Okay, no, but you're talking about living life while you're alive.
Yeah,
The people who are no longer of this world,
I think this is,
other than living in your memories,
well, to me, I don't think that. I think that's something. That's what I'm suggesting that
no,
that is
it's something for you.
exactly. It makes you feel better.
Let's look
and
at
that's
their
fine.
perspective. They don't feel anything. They don't think anything anymore because
Yes.
whatever was feeding their brains, because everything that we think happens in our heads.
Yeah, all the chemicals.
Everything that we feel, as much as when we touch something, we think that, I'm sensitive to touch. It's your brain that's interpreting the connection between your finger or your foot and something else.
That is the sign.
It's the brain. When the brain stops working and your heart is no longer pumping blood to any organs, you don't feel or think anything.
Yeah.
You begin the process of decomposing and getting reabsorbed into nature.
There is no reconciling the two opinions on this. So that's absolutely, you're right. That's the classic scientific
It's
argument.
observable. What I'm
Yes, that's
offering
what
is
scientific means.
observable.
That's what science, at the heart of it, that's what science
it's
is.
proven. It's not only observed by one, it's observed by many.
So science, being the creation of an imperfect species, cannot possibly have all the answers. And I'm saying that's where I think that it's legitimate to consider that there is, another way of interpreting this and another way of defining death.
It's called a human construct.
Okay, so
and it was
they're both human constructs.
It was initially no, one is not a human construct.
Well, religion's a human construct.
Yes, I'm talking about science. Science is not a human construct.
Well, what do you mean science is not a human? It's our intellect that that drives it forward.
No, it's so let's distinguish between theories that are put forth because we believe something may be true, and now we go through a lengthy and arduous process that is defined by some of the higher intellects and has been for many, many, many centuries in order to arrive at answers that can be verified, validated, and agreed to the best of our knowledge.
Yeah, that's a scientific process that we've come up with.
Okay, there was a
That is a
time.
human
There was
construct.
a time when the best we could do to explain things that were otherwise unexplainable is to make shit up.
Yeah. And make people feel better because of that, or control people.
And in the process, we discovered that there was a great way for us to mobilize large numbers of people.
That's right, by scaring them into heaven and hell.
Well, at first, I would say that it evolved from explaining the unexplainable to mobilizing and then manipulating large numbers of people.
Yeah, you're describing religion. I mean, that's what religion was about. Why do you think kings and the clergy got together really well? Don't do anything bad. Don't steal. Don't cheat. Don't rape. Don't do anything, or else you're going to go to hell. And in the meantime, you control the people as well. Oh, your next life is going to be better than this one. Yeah, you're in shit. You're in squalor. But yeah, when you die, you're going to be in the kingdom of heaven,
and why
you're going to be
we,
at the right hand of God, and all this shit.
And why do we have such a superiority complex that along the way we've convinced ourselves that this only applies to the human species?
Yeah, exactly. And only if you do
I don't see dogs and
do.
cats and animals in the wild believing in God. Yeah. I don't see trees and plants believing in God.
And you got to go to church every Sunday or mosque every Friday or I don't know, on the Sabbath to temple on the Saturday or whatever. And yes, you got to give to the clergy.
Well, and what is Monday to Sunday anyway?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a way for us to organize things. Us meaning the human species. Everything else on this planet has no idea. Because there are no days of the week. There are no weeks. Yeah, exactly. There are no months and there are no years.
Yeah. In the year of our Lord.
None.
Well, we're not like the other species. We evolved differently, and we evolved a lot more in a more sophisticated way. And with that comes, these intellectual abilities and these the storytelling, the theorizing, and history.
Storytelling.
But at a certain point, we have to get past that. That's the thing. I mean, at a certain point, humanity has to evolve to look at things on an evidence-based basis.
Yes.
To my point earlier, there is a sliver of hope that some of this stuff, this metaphysical stuff, is real, maybe. And, in terms of afterlife, in terms of energies, in terms of all of this stuff, there's things we don't understand. So there's a little tiny probability that maybe there's something there. So I don't close the door completely. But it ain't about religion. It ain't about storytelling. It ain't about burning bushes.
Package it any way you like.
And virgin births and resurrections after 3 days and all this bullshit.
Yeah, okay. So that's the way you frame it. Absolutely, and you're entitled to that. And I frame it. I do bring a little bit of my faith and my religion into that discussion about that sliver.
So the difference between your two belief system is that Nuran's is rooted in the scientific process. Yours is rooted in blind faith.
No.
Yes.
No, we're not defining it that way. Absolutely not.
Let's face it.
There's nothing that you believe in, as far as this conversation is concerned, that can be observed, right, impartially and measured, and and agreed upon by independent parties, it's all fiction.
But that-
And what Nuren is describing is a process through which you have to be able to observe and measure and repeat and concur.
Correct.
That's all good. But science cannot explain everything.
Not yet.
Because we aren't in a position where we can explain everything.
And until
But
it does,
just because you can't explain, here's the difference.
exactly, I'm not going to believe the stories.
A true scientist will say, when asked a question to which there isn't an answer, say, we don't know. Not make something up.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the difference.
But in the meantime, you can believe in what you want to believe in.
Oh, not in the meantime. At any time, you can believe what you believe in.
So-
it doesn't make it true.
So I'm not dismissing science at all. Science, I absolutely I recognize and I embrace science. But why can I not do both? Why can I not embrace science and also be able to embrace a certain degree of faith?
Of course, Aki, you can. You're free to do whatever you choose.
So that's what I'm saying.
Faith is
You're free to do whatever you choose.
faith and religion are different things. Don't mix the two. You can have faith that there is some sort of afterlife. You can have faith that there is something. But listening to the stories that were told 2,000 years ago by ignorant shepherds and farmers who didn't know a fuck about anything, and anything they saw was a miracle, like, what the hell?
Well, they knew how to raise sheep.
You know,
Yeah, I sent a video about how they treat the sheep.
right? But there were ancient. Okay, so that's an oversimplification because you know that there are great ancient civilizations. It wasn't just about raising sheep.
Aki, come on.
Well, you can't dismiss the history of ancient civilizations and philosophy and the basis of democracy.
How much were people educated? How much education was actually
Well,
there?
it's all
You had
relative.
enlightenment. You had a certain level of enlightenment. It
Exactly.
wasn't the same degree, but you always had enlightenment.
Okay.
What is enlightenment?
Virgin births, miracles, walking on water, making
That's the religious.
water into
that's
wine,
the pure religious.
one fish into whatever.
That's a pure religious.
meal.
Do you recognize? Okay, do you accept at least? Do you accept that religion is one lens that humanity has?
It's when
What does
people
that mean?
were ignorant.
No, but wait. What does that mean?
It's one. It is one means of making sense of the world. Religion
No.
is one means.
Yes,
of making
because
sense
they
of the
were
world.
ignorant at the
Yes,
time.
of course it is.
Yes, they made sense of the world by telling stories.
And science.
But you believe in those stories?
And science is another. And science.
No, but
all
Aki, at a certain point, you got to let common sense sink in and put yourself into the psyche of a human being that lived 2,000 years ago, who lived up to the age of 40, and there were grandparents. When you were 12, 13 years old, you got married and had kids, or 14, 15 years old. As soon as you started having your period, you were a woman. Think about the timing of what all this was happening.
So do you think that all of history is garbage and there's nothing really to take from it?
He never said history
I'm
was
asking-
garbage.
He
never
said
said
he
history was
described-
garbage.
No, but Aki, the
No.
interpretation of things that happened 2,000 years ago, you have to think of it, look through the eyes of someone who was alive 2,000 years ago, who didn't know a fucking thing.
But they knew, look, no, you can't call them ignorant
you
because
can't.
they knew.
Really?
They knew what the knowledge was available then.
Yes,
you
exactly.
Can't, you can't.
What
just,
kind of
No,
knowledge?
he's so,
Well,
okay. I'm not
compared
like
to
to defend
today.
Nuren. What he's saying is the level of understanding the average person had 2,000 years ago pales in comparison
Of course.
to the level of
Of
knowledge
course.
and understanding
Of
the
course.
average human being
But
has
they weren't-
today.
They weren't.
But there was
exactly-
value to that knowledge. It wasn't all just about dismissing it,
But Aki, when someone
labeling it ignorant.
but when
He's
you-
using the term ignorant
Let him speak. Go ahead.
So when you make a story,
in a way that you're misinterpreting.
So, do you believe that an energy up above impregnated a woman and created a human version of a god that came out as Jesus? Or did some guy get born named Jesus who had a view of what the world should be and just preached love and whatever and faith and whatever? And whatever the preachings of that actually came out of his mouth 2,000 years later are probably not at 1/10 of what he actually said. Do you think
That's possible.
these texts were not manipulated?
Of
Do you
course
think
they
that
were.
women were taken out of the church by men?
Of course, but
and the importance of women were diminished because men wanted more power, and all of this shit that happened throughout the eons?
So that
you can
hasn't
put that
changed
label.
much.
You can put that label on science. Science has been manipulated as well.
Aki, stop changing the topic.
No, but that's I'm saying
I'm just-
fundamentally that's human nature. Whether you put a religious label on it or you put a scientific.
No, I'm sorry,
label on
science-
it, there is manipulation. That's
Where
what I'm
where
saying.
there's manipulation in science, it gets called out. So you look
Okay.
at strength.
And in religion?
Look at no,
It
it
doesn't.
doesn't.
Well,
It
of course it's
perpetuates to
called
this
out.
day. No, it's not.
We don't stone people for.
A couple of hundred years ago, they were drowning witches.
We're talking.
Oh,
wait
exactly.
a second,
We don't drown
guys.
people.
Hold on. We're talking about belief system. In science, the belief system holds until such time as we're able to say that there is no merit
Yeah,
to this particular stream.
it's disproven.
So string theory is a perfect example.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be the next big thing. Today it's called out. It says no, and yes, there was some manipulation because there were people who relied on the funding of governments and others in order to continue their research. And finally said, enough is enough. There's no there. Okay, turn the page, move on to the next thing. That does not happen in religion.
Of course, it's happened.
No,
Religion has
the
evolved.
belief system remains the same.
Oh, come on, Aki. You're still having the body of Christ and the blood of Christ and all this shit when you go to the
So my
to the
point,
church.
my
Is that
point
real?
is, it doesn't matter whether you've lived a good life, a bad life, a healthy life, an unhealthy life, right? A prosperous life, a poor life. We all end up in the same place.
Yeah.
The distinguishing factor is how we live our lives while we are
Yeah.
alive.
Exactly.
Until further notice.
And then
We become fish
it's
food.
all the same.
Right, and
Plant food,
Exactly.
Right.
Bug food.
bug food, animal food,
Yeah.
and in some cases, rarely, human food.
yeah.
Yeah. Those cannibals.
So look, I mean, I think religion plays a role in guiding people to live their life the best way that they can.
You're describing
Religion-
morality.
Yes, exactly.
They're
Because at
not the
heart-
same.
Well, to me they are.
Well,
to me they are. Morality comes out of religion.
No,
biggest hypocrisy fraud in
We came back to religion.
in all of man's creations,
it's religion, yeah.
right?
Oh, God help us.
Oh, we don't stand on that.
Okay, guys, let's get back to what we were talking about, right?
What happens
what
when we die?
happens when we die?
When we die.
I think I'll quote the 70s group, Kansas. We're all dust in the wind.
100%.
There you go.
There we go. So I agree 100%, except for me, the only thing I'll always leave that little sliver of probability because we don't understand exactly what consciousness is yet. And people are digging into quantum mechanics, quantum physics, and trying to figure out what's happening within our psyche, within our brain. People are coming up with, theories. These are all theories that are not proven yet, that our consciousness might be some sort of quantum level shit that's going on that causes us to have consciousness, to have an inner dialogue, to have things that are going on that other animals don't have, that might make some sense at some point in our lives. So I'll leave that little sliver open.
Fair enough.
But until we know what that actually is,
If ever. Yeah.
if ever,
So you're more of a Queen guy. The show must go on.
yes. And we will rock you.
No, I thought Queen, who wants to live forever?
Yeah, that too.
Well, I don't know about that. I think I've done okay. It's time to go. So yeah, I think because I leave that sliver open, I'll say, okay, to be continued. Let's see what happens. Let's see what we can discover. But when it comes to religion, I'm sorry. To me, it's morality. It ain't about religion. Ethics, morality, that's great.
Nothing to
garbage.
do. Those have nothing to do
Exactly.
with death.
And exactly. Correct.
And will have no impact on what happens after you die.
Yep. I'll just be food for something else. That's right. Exactly.
So I absolutely, I am a student of science, as we should all be. As humanity should believe in science, unquestionably. But as I've argued, science does not have all the answers. Humanity does not have all the answers. There is an element of unknown, and I think the answer to the question is in that unknownness that we need to look at.
So you're saying what happens to us when we die
We don't. We
is
have no
unknown.
certainty. We have no certainty. We have
Well, no,
certainty.
we have a lot of certainty.
Yeah.
There's overwhelming evidence of what happens to us when we die.
To the body, to the body.
to the body.
What do you mean to the body?
You still
No,
not
when you
just-
say the body,
okay? No, they're talking about souls now.
no, everything that constitutes human life,
I agree.
we know
I agree.
what happens to it when we die.
Yeah.
Do we not?
Yes.
Well, he's talking about the soul, right?
That's
the
the-
consciousness, the little spark that's
Yes.
in us.
Yes.
That
Yes.
goes out into
that
the,
energy, that energy.
That
you know.
energy. That's
Yes.
it. That doesn't quite extinguish.
Well, no,
but
energy
fade
is
goes
something
to a different phase.
Energy is something different.
Well, that's it. So, what happens when we die? Does the energy, the essence of us, phase into another dimension?
Correct.
Right? Is that what heaven is?
I don't think that's what he's referring to.
No, that's one.
But that's the way I would interpret it.
I agree with that interpretation.
So, if you're a
as
man
we-
of science,
that is a possibility. That's the
only possibility. That's what I say.
Okay, that's the only
That's
possibility.
the only possibility.
Okay, so maybe we're talking about the same thing. We
That's
don't
it.
know.
This
We
is
don't,
the
we don't
only-
know. To be determined, hopefully for a long time, not anytime soon.
Why? I'd love to know for a fact. Come on. Why
Well,
would you say that?
we
Okay,
don't want to
let us
die
know.
anytime soon. We don't want to die anytime soon. I
Oh,
think
that.
we
No,
agree
but
about
for
that.
humans to understand what happens to us.
Look, there's and I think faith, and I think the history of humanity. There are lessons to be learned. There are questions to be asked, and there is wisdom to be drawn. Is what I'm saying.
I don't understand how any of what you just said pertains to what happens to us when we die.
And what do you think happens?
I've said it repeatedly. I'm not gonna repeat myself.
Science.
Fish food.
We've discussed the scientific
Food for other organisms
We've
of all
discussed,
kinds.
we've discussed the scientific theory, and I'm suggesting that there are other theories as well that come from other philosophies and faiths and religions that are a part of the non-scientific world that also tries to define humanity and what happens to life.
Fair enough.
Is their definition accurate? You could take issue with it, but I think it's legitimate and it has to be weighed in.
Fair enough.
All right. On that note, I'm going to thank you guys for the conversation.
Yeah, great conversation.
Thank
guys.
our audience for joining us.
Thank you very much.
And until further notice, I wish all of you long, healthy, prosperous lives.
Live long and prosper.
Until next week.
Long
care,
live
guys.
Pat.
Bye, guys.